Hey guys, welcome back to episode 8, Beyond the Girl here. We have Jasmine back on the podcast and we have a special guest. Brianna, please give us a little introduction on who you are, what you do, and like why you're here.
So I am Bri or Briani. I don't know. I go by both. I am a powerlifter and new baby bodybuilder. This is my second year doing bodybuilding. And I've been powerlifting for the past 5 years, kind of just wanting something new. I'm a powerlifting coach and general fitness coach. And I'm here because I actually met Maria like on 4th of July formally. We
Yeah.
had a conversation about her podcast because I had briefly listened to some episodes and stuff like that. And here we are.
Yeah. Yeah. So I basically like when I met you, I thought you were really cool. I had heard of you because obviously Nick knows
Joe, yeah.
your boyfriend. So like I was like, okay, well he's always like, she's so strong, like insanely strong.
Yeah.
And then I was like, really? And then I was like, well, she looks strong. And then I kind of creeped your Instagram and I was like, okay, yeah, she's really strong. I'm like, she's stronger than you, if anything.
Crazy.
I'm all right.
And then I got like to meet you, obviously, and then try some of your cookies were like freaking amazing.
Yeah,
So not only is she a cool person, like a very like badass bodybuilder, power lifter, but she knows how to bake. So
It's a good combo.
yeah,
Yes.
Joe gets like the best treatment there. So yeah, obviously, and then you and Jasmine, like you guys know each other through Instagram,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like you guys find commonalities when it comes to you, because you guys both are fairly like, I'm like the weak ass little one here, like out of the three of us. So you guys, I feel like can kind of have
we
that.
both have that powerlifting background. I did it pretty like on the basic level for like 3 or 4 years back in like 2015.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You
But
used to
I
do CrossFit.
moved on quickly to CrossFit and then now
Yeah, I did
body-
CrossFit
yeah.
for a couple of years too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So same.
It's like, what's next? What's next?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I did CrossFit for 3 sessions and I was like, no, this is not for
Yeah,
me.
you almost died.
It's
I heard the
terrible.
story.
It's terrible. My God.
It's kudos to whoever does it, because you literally need to be fit to do that. It's
Yeah.
not for the
Yeah.
for the weak minded, that's for sure.
No.
This brings us, obviously, we spoke about you crossfitting and bodybuilding, Jasmine. Now obviously you've done a little bit of powerlifting yourself. Now in terms of you, Bri, because I know that you have like competitive kind of power lifter as well.
Mhm.
So obviously tell us a little bit about being a power lifter. And I know like sometimes like it comes to like genetics, your frame, your build, to determine how strong you can be or how strong you can become down the road. But
Mhm.
obviously it takes so much more than that. In like essentially what made you, and what's the part that you love most about powerlifting specifically?
Oh gosh. So when I was doing CrossFit, my dad introduced me to it because he's a weightlifter and he's super strong and all that, and did CrossFit for a while. And the thing that I really, really loved was like all the barbell cycling WODs and stuff like that. Like I would always stay after to do Oli lifting, things like that, because like the running and the jump ropes and all that stuff didn't really interest me. It was just a part of it. And so I really started lifting heavy, getting into it, and I didn't even know what powerlifting was at the time. I remembered I injured my shoulder on like the CrossFit open workout. I was doing like toes to bar, my shoulder came out of place and I had to like pop it back in. And then after that day, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I keep getting injured. This isn't cool. So I just did like the normal fit chick stuff, legs 3 times a week, just doing whatever. Didn't really follow a program. And I met a friend that was like, hey, you're really strong. Have you heard of powerlifting? And I was like, what's powerlifting? Like, that's a sport? And it's like, yeah, it's squat, bench, and deadlift. And at this time, like, I had never even really benched. So I was like, oh, okay, whatever, I'll try it. So I followed like a really general program. It was like the Wendler 531, which every like powerlifter starts doing as like their first program. And I was like, I really like this, but I don't really know if I like competing. I hadn't found that part of me yet, because I remember competing in CrossFit and the whole time I was just like, I hate this. Like everyone's yelling at me.
Miserable.
I'm dying. Like this is not fun anymore. And so I did my first powerlifting competition like December of 2017, and I was like, "Whoa! Like this is a lot of fun. Like I love this. I love feeling strong. Like all the eyes are on me. Like I'm not. This is not usually what I like, but I like this because it's such like it's just like bodybuilding. It's a very individual sport, but you can't get to where you want to be without a really good team behind you. Um, so I stuck with that. It's like the longest thing that I stuck with, and then like a sub 2 years of powerlifting, I hit my first all-time world record, and I was like, I could be really good at this. So I love powerlifting because I love. It's not even my lifting most of the time. It's the fact that I get to coach or just see other women who I look up to really hone in on their strength and like completely encompass what it means to be a woman. Like you can be feminine, you can be strong, you can be all of those things. And it's just, it's beautiful to me. And I think it's a really awesome sport, even though it's super gritty, but it just makes me really happy.
Yeah. And like it takes away that you lift like a girl or like,
Yes.
you know, like
Yeah.
I've myself, like I'm like, "Ugh, I'm lifting like such a girl." And I'm like, wait the fuck a second.
Like,
Like,
what is that? Yeah, what does that even mean
yeah,
now these
like,
days?
but then I'm like, is it that because the delicate part of us that we're not expected to be like rough, strong, or like, you know, go outside of that? So like
Yeah.
such a little like cute thing, and you
Yeah.
actually come out of that shell, and you're like full on like I'm a badass, you
Yeah.
know?
And it's so
So,
cool too, because like with powerlifting, like it was primarily a male dominated sport. And
mhm.
now in the past like 3, 4 years, the women is what everyone wants to see. Cause it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, seeing a
It's
dude
kind
lift
of
like,
norm. Yeah.
yeah, it's like seeing a dude deadlift 700 pounds is like, that's amazing, right? But it's like,
Yeah.
how many times have we seen that? Now we're seeing women pull 500 pounds, bench
It's
300
nuts.
pounds. And it's like, it's insane. And now women have like their own day or their own primetime flights. And it's just cool to see how the sport has, been so uphill in a linear progression into the sport. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. It almost makes it seem almost unattainable now, though. Like the levels that, like, 'cause I remember when I was doing it, like a 225 bench was like never was unheard of. You know, a 315 squat was like, whoa,
Yeah.
405. But now it's like that. Those are just entry level numbers. It's like
Yeah.
how
Yeah. Yeah.
how.
Because I was saying like the women deadlifting 500 pounds now is like the new 405. It's insane.
And
Holy shit. And
I
like the
know
thing is like
it's
sometimes
fuck.
it's like their weight is like it's still like within the like 170, 180. What like what's the heaviest like what's let's say like the heaviest deadlift? What's the weight of the actual like competitor?
So
The body weight.
the heaviest deadlift of all time was done by Sarah Schiff. She just did it here in Vegas actually a couple months ago, and I believe she weighs like 250. She's really tall. She's like almost 40. She's a doctor, so like she just does this for fun, but she's like one of the best ever. Yeah, and like Hunter Henderson, she competes at 181 pounds and she squats 687.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
see the ratio of body weight and like weight that you're actually lifting, it's
yeah,
insane. Like
yeah,
you're like, no way until you actually get to see it like with your own eyes.
yeah,
And that's the thing. I think that has empowered so many women because obviously history and all that stuff, we belong in the kitchen and all this shit that people say. And I think that empowers a lot of women to be like, holy shit, if they can do it, I can do it, you know?
yeah,
And I think that has given women that, like, it's like a stepping stone into actually like seeing the potential that's actually within us. And
yeah,
that it's not, it's like they call it like our male energy. Because
mhm,
I feel like that is something that over time has been like trying to be suppressed, but then now like male energy is becoming a thing like in the
mhm,
female community, which sucks that we call it male energy because it should be
Right.
like
It's just another side.
yeah, it's
yeah,
just
Another
embracing the
yeah.
other side of femininity that can also be just as like impressive as the
yeah,
emotionally caretaking side of us. But I think it's like an awesome thing to see over time and like throughout history,
yeah,
to see the role in the community in sports, like in all sense of like
yeah,
community, right?
and yeah, and that's why I love and hate social media because it's like we play the comparison game, but it's like I've learned over time like people want to see this stuff because at one point I was them.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone starts somewhere. Like I used to be very weak, so it's I would just want to show other women that it's possible to be whatever you want to be if you have the determination, the discipline to do it.
And
Totally.
it doesn't happen overnight, and that's
Yeah,
something that
exactly.
I think we get caught up on with social media, because you see that moment in time
Yeah.
that you are sharing with everyone, but they have not seen what took to get there. And I feel like some people, myself included, I've fallen into this bad thing that I forget
Mhm.
sometimes that in order to either be successful or have an like house that's like X amount of millions, it takes so much to get there, but you just see that moment, and you kind of feel insecure about your own achievement sometimes, because again, we all start somewhere, but we forget that that's actually a reality check that you need to be like,
Yeah,
okay,
it's
it
like
takes time.
Instagram is all a highlight reel, and that's why like I used to hate posting, me not doing something right or a failure, but it's like it's important to post those
Showcase
failures.
that. Yeah.
It's important to lose. You have to lose in order
Yeah.
to get to the other side because you learn so much from your failures. And I would rather fail 100 times over to get that life experience than to just be winning all the time. Because if you had all the answers, it's not fun anymore.
No, it's what's the
No,
point?
you get like
Yeah.
bored. Yeah.
Yeah,
Bored
you
and
have
you
to
move
chase
on.
it.
And it
Yeah,
makes you more relatable when you can show other people that you've been through those struggles. Like
exactly.
I'm drawn to people who are honest with, the ups and downs rather than the people who just pretend like everything's hunky dory all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so not realistic, and I think we need to be the difference to those things. So obviously, like you said, like you're a baby bodybuilder, you call yourself. What are you doing, Jasmine? I heard that.
Sorry, it was like being weird.
I'm telling Justin that you're messing with the mic again.
Oopsie.
Obviously, like from powerlifting to bodybuilding, like it's totally different. And I know we had a brief conversation about how you feel about bodybuilding and how you thought it was one thing, and then now that you're doing, you get to like actually like test the waters and you get your own experience and
Yeah.
live it.
Mhm.
So, what has it been for you? Because I know what Jasmine were like, it's totally different than CrossFit. Like even the community, everything that comes with it is totally different. So, what was your first experience, like your first competition when you first did your like amateur debut?
Uh, Dude, bodybuilding has kicked my ass.
You're like, how many weeks out are you?
I'm 12 days out, dude.
Oh,
What?
shit.
I'm losing brain
Uh,
cells as this conversation
oh
goes
no.
on. But it's
Oh no. You're
it's
doing great. You
Yeah.
sound chipper and happy and
You
thank you.
sound you
yeah.
sound like you're here, so that's all that
Yeah.
matters.
I've saved up enough brain power to have this podcast today. After this, I'm done.
I appreciate it.
Like
We
didn't do
appreciate it.
anything all day.
Yeah,
Just
she's like,
But no, it's been really fun. My first season was hard. It's very different. My training was very different. I was like, why am I not doing heavy triples on deadlift? Like what? Why am I doing sets of
where are
50?
the bands and the chains and all that
Yeah,
good stuff?
and I learned a lot because it's like I've always kind of had a weird relationship with food. I'm kind of very food motivated. I have a tendency to binge eat and emotionally eat. So that was probably my biggest challenge going into bodybuilding. I mean, I've compete in a weight class based sport, so obviously I can't get above my weight class too much. So I have an idea of what it is to have proper nutrition and things like that. But this is just totally different because if it's a powerlifting meet and I want to go have a beer and I'm 6 weeks out, I can go have a beer and a burger if
Right.
I really, really
It's
want.
not gonna like affect you.
Yeah, it's like
You know.
this bodybuilding is 24/7, 365. You always have to be prepared. And I think that it's made me a better person and it's going to make me a better power lifter because I have so much discipline and so much more grit now. It is something that is completely new to me. I don't think that I'm really good at it yet. Of course, who is going to be in their first sub 2 years of bodybuilding? But it's really humbling, and I'm really grateful to go from being the pinnacle and the top in one sport to going to something else and being nothing and having to work my way up. I think that's really fun to me, even though it's super challenging. But I don't know. I love bodybuilding. I think you learn a lot about yourself, and you really have to dig deep and do the right shit when no one is watching, and It's really hard.
That's the part that counts when
Yeah.
nobody's watching, because then
Yeah.
it only comes down to you. Are you being real to yourself, or are
Yeah.
you choosing like to just be this person because you want to show the world one thing, but
Yeah.
behind doors is what really shows like who you really are, how hard you push or how hard you don't push, or if you decide to cheat, then that will kind of bring out a little bit of realization in your head and perhaps question yourself as well. And I
Yeah.
think that's something I've experienced myself, because hey, I have had preps where I cheat, and then I'm like, okay, I'm doing this behind doors, and then I go out there and pretend that I'm like these like put it together, like I can follow my diet, do my
Yeah.
cardio, but then there are parts where I break,
Mhm.
and then it's just I am not perfect, and sometimes that makes you really analyze yourself and just self-reflect, and then you either move backwards or forward, and then that's where you grow. So
The
Yeah.
mindset,
and
like my mindset, my first prep was kind of like, this sucks. I don't really want to do this, but I committed to this. I'm gonna see it through no matter what. And kind of the beginning of this first prep of my second prep was kind of like, oh, I don't want to diet again. Like, this is gonna suck. But I feel like in the past, I don't know, when I was about 6 weeks out, I kind of had this like mental shift of like, hey, I get to do this. This is not suffering. This is a choice that I'm making every single day. And there are thousands of people that would kill to be in my position. Like, I'm having fun. This is fun. Yeah, it sucks that I can't eat, but the fun is always going to be there. The food is always going to be there. My goals are more important, and I owe it to myself to give 100%. And that's not something to complain about.
yeah.
Yeah. It's a good mindset. Like
Yeah.
I remember repeating in my head, fuck food, fuck food, fuck food.
Yeah.
Anytime I was thinking about it.
See, and
Yeah,
now,
it's like
now I'm like the opposite with food. So my first prep, I actually got Joe pretty fat because I do this thing where I like to see other people eat, and it gives me like
Yes.
satisfaction.
I did that too. I was like baking and like giving stuff away.
Joe's like, he steps on the scale. He's like, babe, I'm almost 260. I can't do this anymore. I don't care. I go get the Jack in the Box. God damn it.
guys, I'm shit out of luck here because Nick doesn't even like to freaking cheat during the off season. So
Dude.
Yeah,
when
he's a little strict,
I
isn't he?
haven't prepped with him, like I haven't done a show yet when like during our relationship, so
Mhm.
I still don't know, but I know for a fact that I will not count on him to either like eat everything I crave, because you guys know Nick, so
He's a robot.
yeah, so
Are you gonna prep
definitely like
with him?
what?
Are you gonna prep with him, or do you want to be in prep while he's out of prep? What do you think will be easier?
No, I want to be like in prep when he's not like prepping, because I like to be all there for him, and I feel like I want him to be all there for me. So I just gotta like make sure I do it during the summer, like right before the Olympia. So I kind of gotta like, I feel like that will work best. So we keep our relationship healthy, just because I know my personality during prep, even though it's not their fault. Like I know we become very like edgy, and sometimes you can't control your like human reactions, because sometimes it's like a human physical biological reaction that you're just like not fully there. So I'm just considering those things before I get myself into something that I perhaps will regret, because I know myself. So
someone's got to keep it together in the household. Like you have to have
I remember, like,
one person.
Yeah, my prep last year, like Joe would breathe wrong. I'd be like, "What are you doing?"
Stop.
I told Nick, I'm like, but listen, when I'm prepping, you breathing heavy is gonna be like, stop breathing, because it will just bug me, right? But it's just like it sounds so mean. It's so like self-centered. Like stop breathing.
Justin
around
would
me.
try and like show me stuff on his phone, and if it was like it's a little bit too long, I would lose my shit.
You're like, get to the point.
I don't like 10 seconds is all you get. Like this is a 30-second video. I can't do this.
You're like, I'm gone.
I remember when I said 5
No
minutes ago.
way.
Why do you think I have the attention span to see a 30-second video? Get away from me.
Yeah.
No, seriously.
Well,
I don't
now,
want to see it.
because he's like, what? How many days out? Like exactly like 5 days out?
Yeah. We're leaving. I just started packing today. Stressing me out.
Dude, he looks so good.
He does.
That is insane.
That's like the one thing that he really focused on bringing up this last year during his off season. So
how many pounds did he gain? He gained like an impressive amount of weight between like last.
Yeah. So we're not really sure what he's going to be on stage, but we're thinking he put on like 10 to 12 pounds
Wow.
of muscle, which, you know, is pretty good. Like he, you know, we're not young anymore, but
Yeah. That
Yo,
pretty
the,
good.
the buttered chicken went to the right places.
the curried buttered chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure
They love
did.
Indian food. So like that's why I'm like, yeah,
Dude,
He's already scouting out places to go. And
Of
I
course.
guess Chicago has a pretty good food scene. So
yeah, they do. I do not want to see chicken breasts for months after this prep. I'm over it. Ugh.
do
I
you
don't want to
eat
see turkey
do you
or
eat white fish?
So I've been kind of substituting sometimes with like shrimp or tilapia when I'm tired of chicken, but it's like I went from eating chicken thigh and like 90-10 ground beef, and then one day it got switched all to chicken breast, and I was like, awesome.
Yeah, because it's like all the lean meat,
Yeah.
no fats.
Mm-hmm.
It does get old, and then you kind of can't even season it like a certain way. You kind of have to keep it simple.
Yeah.
But I know, like I did, orange roughy.
Yeah. I heard about that.
Yeah, but I think that one gives you like, pardon like my French, but like oily diarrhea if you eat too
heard of
much of
that.
it. Like oily, like
Okay.
Really?
like it's just oil coming out of your butt.
yeah, you don't want that.
No. So I know someone who like ate more than, I think it was like 6 ounces or more than 10 ounces, something like that, the same day, and then they were squatting and they was just like,
Oil coming out of their ass.
game over.
That's my worst fear. Oh my god.
Just diarrhea dripping out of your butthole.
I guess.
And it's just like
Yeah.
oil. It's disgusting.
There was that drug like 10 years ago that came out that was supposed to like inhibit the fat when you would, it was like a popular like diet pill. I forget what it was called, but like Ali or something. And you would take it and it would like somehow prohibit you from like absorbing fat or something. Or
Really?
but it was causing people to have like
Diarrhea.
oil coming out of their buttholes.
Yeah, because there was no fats being absorbed, so everything is just running through
like,
you.
So worth it? I don't
think so.
You ain't
I'd
shit.
rather not eat it. I'd rather not eat fats.
Then have oil coming out of your butthole. Yeah, probably.
like imagine how irritating that is for your butt. Like no.
Just how embarrassing an oil stain on your pants.
Well, it's like you're in
your
prep and
butthole
you
would
can,
be.
yeah, you're in prep and you can barely go to the bathroom as is sometimes. So it's like I don't want the one time I can to be fucking oil.
Yeah, you're like, do I have to pee or do I have to like number 2? Like you can't even tell.
You need to clean it up with like Dawn dish soap. Cut the grease.
Whoever's listening to, they're like, how the fuck did we just like go from this to that?
You know how we be.
Yeah.
Oh,
but yeah, like obviously you made like some valid and very like I want to say important points. Obviously, perspective and how you look at things during prep will be everything.
Mm-hmm.
If you set yourself to be the victim of your own decisions, which is like you chose to prep, you knew what you were getting yourself into, and then all you do is complain on social media that you're tired or that it's okay to express your feelings because it's a reality. And then I feel like many competitors can relate to you, but I feel like when you start to take it out on other people and then just start to lash out or just other things in your life take a toll, like you have to be like sure that you're ready to do that, because again, like the way that you look at the process is like very important. Because it was like the same thing. Like I'm with you on the part where I'm like very food driven, and I think that's why I've never been able to do a successful reverse where I just like full victim of my own decisions and actions. So could you say that I'm weak-minded? Yes. Maybe perhaps I just jumped into a prep when I wasn't ready. That's why I think these couple years I've really kind of just sat with myself and been realistic about what's I gonna do after the show, because I'm not mentally ready to go into a prep and then deal with the post-show stuff. So I think that obviously like not a lot of people can come to terms with that stuff. And I don't know, like you guys obviously like when food is a feeling, that's why I made a post like, do not make food a feeling, because I know many people just go to food to feel better. If they've had a stressful day, you go sit on the couch, eat a whole bag of chips, and then you feel better for the moment, but then afterwards you're like, why did I just do that?
Exactly.
So it's like you have to disconnect and know that food is there to nourish, to like perhaps take you where you want to go with your goals. And I remember like this one time in prep, my hardest prep, which was my last prep. um I literally said, there are so many people starving in the world, and I have the choice to literally say no to food because I'm that privileged to be like doing this by choice,
Mhm.
and I am just starving myself by choice. So I'm like, I am very privileged to do that, you know? So I kind of started disconnecting with like the whole food thing because I'm like, I can just go to a grocery store and everything is available for me.
Mhm.
So I just started to think that way and just making connections to how lucky I am to be able to do this and be like able to make that decision. And then you cope with your own weaknesses to make sure that you don't fall weak. And then
Mhm.
obviously, you know, so every prep I'm trying to do better. But I don't know if you guys have like certain, like you said, like certain ways to look at things. Because I know many people have come to me. I don't know. I'm sure you guys get people asking how you do you like cope with either the amount of cardio or the fact that you can't eat certain foods.
Mhm.
So I don't know how you guys like some tips or
I do want to say I don't think you're weak-minded because I think there's a lot more power in recognizing that you're not ready for something than forcing it.
right.
Like
I
I think,
agree.
Yeah.
yeah,
That was it
Yeah.
was really it's really hard to
yeah,
really like be real with yourself in that moment. So yeah, I guess I don't give myself enough credit sometimes.
yeah,
Yeah.
But
yeah. It's
I
yeah,
think
reverse fighting is hard. Sorry, go ahead.
the food thing is so difficult because it is associated with so much like cultural importance, you know, like family function importance all revolves around food. Like grandma's recipe has a lot of like emotional history behind it. So I think we do instinctually, all humans, not just, you know, people in the fitness industry, associate food with emotional
like a
connections
feeling.
with other people. And I think it makes it really difficult to try and disconnect from that just because you're now in a setting in which, you know, you need to disassociate from that. But so I think that it's hard. I don't think you can completely do that, like no matter what. Even if you are someone who doesn't give a shit about food, you're still gonna go to like Christmas and probably feel a little sad that you can't eat regardless of who you are. But I think, like you said, Maria, just need to recognize that it's a choice that you're making, and that, you know, it agree what you said, that it'll be there when you're done, and that you're just right now in a time period where you're using your food as fuel rather than as like an emotional gratification. You know?
Yeah,
Hmm. Yeah.
yeah. Reverse dieting, that's like the thing that I'm like the most
Yeah, I
scared of.
sucked at it last
Yeah,
time. I
same.
absolutely
Because it's like right
sucked.
now I'm thinking like I'm not 2 weeks out of my competition. I'm 2 weeks out of reverse dieting. It's like the training is fun.
Yeah.
I love everything, but the after, it's like because you go from like the highest of highs of oh my god, I just completed it, and then
Yeah,
you have everybody has that moment after a big event where it's done, and you're kind of like, okay, well, what now? And you have those post show blues or post competition blues, and
yeah,
you're like, it's over. Like, what do I have to work for? So I think something that I'm doing, which is stupid that I'm doing this, but it's giving me a goal and not going to let me go off the rails. I signed up for another powerlifting competition at the end of October to kind of like keep my
Keep
head
you on
in the
track.
game,
yeah.
keep me on track. I can't get fat. I can't do this because if I do that, everything will fall apart. My hormones
Right.
will go out of control. Like last
Yeah,
year,
it's like a very like important time for you to be like not us
yeah,
go balls to the wall, because I feel like a lot of people really just underestimate the state you're in post
hmm
show. It's like physically, physiologically, just like such a brittle moment
hmm
that you can really like cause more damage than good by just like letting your brain feel that temporary like dopamine
dopamine rush.
release.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Your
yeah.
body is so sensitive to
hmm
nutrients in that time period. You know, whatever you could put in it is, it's gonna stick.
Yeah.
So,
And it's like
Yeah.
you think that you can't do that much damage in a week or 2 weeks, but you can.
oh,
Yeah, you
yes,
can.
yes, you can.
What's the most you guys shot up like in terms of weight? Because I know in 2 weeks I shot up like 20 pounds, and for my frame
Yeah,
that was like a
yeah,
lot of weight.
yeah.
Yes, I think I was up
20
like
pounds.
12 or 15 pounds like 2 weeks post, and I was like puffy. I got acne. Like I looked like the poster person of someone who was unhealthy.
Someone who really fucked up their reverse.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
'cause
was
it's like
me as well. Like just
yeah, because then like you go to the gym and it's like
watery.
you looked so good 2 weeks ago, now you look like shit, and it was even worse because
You
this was like
feel like shit.
yeah, and this is like 2
Like,
months post show, but it's like I had competed at USA's, and then the fucking Olympia was here, and I was fat and unhealthy. All these people like
You're
fucking.
like they're like, weren't didn't you just do a show? You're
I was like, there is nothing more
they're
fat.
like,
no,
that
no,
wasn't me.
no.
No.
I was like,
That
why
was
is
last
everyone-
year.
Yeah, I was like, I feel like everyone's telling me I'm fat without telling me I'm fat.
Yeah. Like, thanks. I know it. Please just like don't say anything.
Yeah, and I,
But
Yeah.
like the worst, like is when the tan starts cracking. That's how you like you know that your like skin is just stretching so much, and then you get like ups like just crazy itchy, and then you're just like, fuck, my skin is just stretching because you just like keep blowing and blowing up, and you're
yeah,
just like, and then you try to compensate with cardio, and then all these no, it's just like
Yeah,
I like
I think
a
it's
cycle
good
of things
to
that
have that like goal in the future, like you're doing, Bri, is to like not think about your show date as the end point, but
Mhm.
rather to think that like it's I'm still gonna be dieting afterwards. This is just something I'm doing in the middle of my whatever the show date,
yeah.
and don't think of it as like the end point, but rather you need to keep going afterwards.
yeah, because
It's not like everybody needs to have like a set goal like I did. This was just the only way that I could like cope without going off the rails because it's like I feel like it's kind of like every competitor has to go through this. I feel like every competitor has experienced a shitty
Mhm.
reverse diet, and with
Yeah.
how bad I feel, I don't ever want to feel that again.
Yeah, you just want to
Yeah.
do better.
It's
Good.
awful. It's like you're just not functioning well as a
And
human
I think
being.
the way that you just have to like deal with it is like when you're about to do something, really think about what's gonna be afterwards. Because I think that has helped me. I'm like, am I really going to will to like? Am I willing to feel that way about myself and just let myself down to just feel good for this very moment?
Yeah.
So, yeah. But okay, speaking of like bodies and like everything, like you're both on your phone. So what the hell is going on here?
My little sister was like, the gym's closed right now. And she's like, I need to get in there. The one that you met.
Yeah, and I had to
I
go
need to get in
downstairs
there
to
and
grab
get
my
something. I'm
charger.
like, no, it's closed. You can't go in
When
there.
excuses became a thing, everyone started looking good. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But yes, I was like obviously speaking about like body changes and everything. I wanted like to see how you guys feel about obviously you guys know how
Yeah.
estrogen dominant we can be, and like our hormones are like such a big thing when it comes to competing and then post show and then all that throughout all phases of our competitions, whatever you do. What do you guys feel about the new like approved over the counter pill, birth control like pill? Like it's not available yet.
Yeah, I'll give my thoughts. I think it's great actually. I think that it's going to give a lot more autonomy to young girls to make their own decisions about their body and their birth control is I don't know if there's an age on it. I didn't see anything about that.
Anybody,
Yeah.
like that's where
I mean-
where I just okay. So there's the thing where I think there is nowadays people start being sexually active from very young age. Like I wasn't until I was 18. Like I was literally almost an adult.
Mhm.
I was an adult technically. So I just think it's a very, very like just a tricky timeline where you are not hormonally mature and like
Yes.
your reproductive system has not hit that point where you're like, okay, now I can start messing with my natural producing hormones.
Yeah.
And I think that's the point where I'm just like, are we really like setting these like little teenagers up for failure when they're trying to like get off of this? Because their bodies, like we know, like I did a little research on this and it's called the O pill or also called the mini pill. And then there are contraceptives that are like, they have synthetic estrogen, synthetic progesterone, or this one, in this case, the over the counter is going to be just synthetic progesterone, so progestin. So this one, they're doing it so like there is less risk of like high blood pressure or like strokes, blood clots, and all that stuff that comes with like estrogen, like synthetic estrogen. But I think when you mess with like any like progesterone or estrogen in general, obviously you're set to like cause changes to the uterus, to like your natural producing hormones. And I think like I have nothing against the pill. I just think it's just like such a tricky timeline where you actually need to start taking it. And I think without the education also, like you guys know, like it can decrease the risk of certain cancers, but it can also increase the risk for breast cancer. So if you have history of breast cancer in your family, or maybe you are the first one to have it and you don't know that yet as a teenager, then that can increase the chances of you acquiring breast cancer over time. So to me, I just don't know where they can find the middle line and where everyone can win. Because I get it, autonomy over your own body and decisions is like something to be like a thing. Like I totally agree with that, but I just think it should be like more of an educational thing. Or why doesn't it? Okay, here's the thing where I'm like, why doesn't it come with like guys? Why don't they focus on producing something for guys that are less hormonally like based? Why does it have to be the female?
Because men are not reliable. I mean,
Facts.
I would never trust a man to take that.
Okay, but here's the thing with this pill too. So it has a 93% like effective like range, and then there's obviously the 7% window where it's like not effective. But also you have to take it at the same time every single day, and then you have a 3-hour window where you can actually like have a little wiggle if you forget, like you're supposed to take it at 9 a.m. and you slept in.
That was awful when I was on the pill. Oh my god!
You have until 12
morning, night, afternoon, what?
And if you do go over that hour, that 3-hour window, apparently you have to either wear a condom or pull out or other methods. And you're telling me that young teenagers are going to be responsible enough to keep up with this?
I think the root cause needs to be like, the root problem is that there's not enough sexual health education for younger children. And I think it's great. Women should totally have their rights and autonomy over their body. And I can imagine a 14-year-old girl who is sexually active, who's scared to tell her parents that she is or that she needs help. So I get that there. But like you said, you're not fully developed. What are the possible implications of this after? I remember I didn't remember to take the pill all the time. And then I was on Depo-Provera, the shot that you get every 3 months, and that fucked up my hormones. So
I've heard so many bad things.
I got it once, and then I went to sexuality class.
Yeah,
and then they talked about it, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
I think
like, I learned about it.
I think it's banned in Europe because it like reduces like your bone density or something like that.
Yeah, it's like not good for us. Like at all.
I'm never gonna tell a female what she should do when it comes to contraceptives, whether that's birth control, condoms, whatever. But I just personally, I'm not a fan of hormonal birth control. I use the copper IUD personally. I've had great success with it. It's just, I just feel so bad for the young teenagers who don't have access to healthcare, or young women who don't have health insurance, who need an option. But the thing with the O pill is they said it's going to be affordable, but what is affordable to everyone?
Yeah.
Because I was researching, and it's like 70% of women aren't comfortable with paying more than 20 or 30 bucks for contraceptives. And it's like, people might not even be able to afford $5. So it's like, what's
as a teenager, how do you ask your parents, hey,
exactly.
I need money for a pill, you know? Exactly. And you might have it for 1 month. And then if you're inconsistent, then at that point, you're kind of messing up your own hormones for no freaking reason, because you're defeating the entire point of actually taking it. Yeah. So that's my thing. It's like, they're just like releasing this thing without like, why don't you guys make it a thing in schools to educate people to, I feel like that's the way to do it. Or I don't know, put more campaigns online. I am not sure, but I don't think females even know. Like, I've never been on birth. Actually, I'm lying. I was on birth control because I had like a cyst in my ovaries when I was 13. So I was like in a very like small cyst. So it was like a short period of birth control use. But again, like, I never was on birth control to actually like prevent pregnancy. Yeah. And I never really like did my research on how it actually works, you know? And I think a lot of people
don't really just tell you.
No, they just take it. And you're like,
I went to Planned Parenthood and because I was like, at the time, I was 16 and I had sort of moved out for a short period and like moved in with a friend, and I went to Planned Parenthood and like got all hooked up, and they definitely do not tell you the implications of like what
No.
hormone usage at that age may have down the road, or like some of the complications that may occur. And yeah, they just, you know, Planned Parenthood is great. It's a great resource for those who need it, but I think because of them not having much funding, and the staff's probably tired of the large amounts of people they see in and out, that they didn't take the time to like explain what I was doing. It was just like,
Yeah.
Here, just don't have a baby. That's all they tell you.
Yeah. And it's
And
like,
then
I like the idea of it because I feel like it'll make sex less taboo, and you're
Yeah.
able to just have easy access to it. Like you're buying Advil. Like that's great. That should be a thing, but it's like at what cost? Like what are the future implications of this, you know?
yeah, like become informed, because I feel like most people are like, okay, well, I take this, prevents me from fucking out my life if I'm not ready for a kid or with the right person. But what does it do to you? Like,
Mhm.
do people even take the time to even know how it like works? Like what it's actually doing? Like, are you getting the one with synthetic estrogen and progesterone, or are you just taking the one with progestin? Like, I don't think females actually take the time to research.
no, I
And
had
then
no clue.
like
Didn't even think about it. Didn't
Exactly.
even know it was something that was different
Like
Yeah.
from pill to pill.
like I didn't know. I'm gonna be honest right now. And then like I was doing some research today, and basically is it just synthetically, like all the both synthetic obviously like hormones enter your body, and they just like block all the receptors, so your body no longer produces
Mhm.
high estrogen, which is the ovulation phase. In the ovulation phase you have higher estrogen, so you're like making your body ready for ovulation. And it also is supposed to um like thin the mucus of your uterus, so the sperm actually has bigger access to access your egg
Mhm.
your egg
Yeah.
so I didn't know like that was like the whole thing. And then obviously after that phase, then estrogen decreases and then progesterone goes up, and then everything is kind of balanced out, you know. And then your body gets the uterus changes to like actually conceive a baby and like hold the baby and all this crap. But then you're blocking all these receptors, and then your body kind of doesn't know when it has to produce it, and then that's when you become estrogen dominant.
Mhm.
And as competitors, you guys know, like, we try to decrease estrogen during our
Mhm.
competitive phases to get lean, because
Mhm.
our bodies naturally are meant to conceive, so we hold a lot of fat around our hips, right? It's like we need to prime ourselves for a baby
Mhm.
naturally. So we know what estrogen dominance can do to your body. Lots of inflammation, skin issues, just like fuck that hormonally altogether. And I think
Yeah.
that's where girls start to gain weight, or like the
Mhm.
skin becomes an issue. You know, it's so many things that are so out of whack when you're estrogen dominant
Yeah, and like
for too long.
that's how I was when I was on the depot. Like I was like having premenopausal like symptoms. Like I was getting hot flashes all the time, and I was gaining unexplained weight, and I had acne, and I was like, what? I literally was like going crazy. I did not feel like myself, and it's just if
Yeah,
I was
mentally, yeah, for
yeah, if I'm
sure.
going through that at 19, what is a 14-year-old going to do? You know?
Exactly. And that's the thing. How do you know if it's you hitting puberty or it's you hitting puberty the wrong way? Because now you really hormonally are just like completely manipulating everything
Yeah.
synthetically, because naturally just like completely stopping that normal process, you know? So that's the part where I'm like, what can be done better? Like, this is not going to be available until next year.
Yeah.
But still, it's just like, how are you going to do with all these teenagers to have access to it and be responsible with it without becoming pregnant, which is the ultimate goal, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
So very touchy topic. I guess neither of us has been like on the pill for a long time.
No, I've
IUD
had that
seems to be the
copper thing
thing.
for like 10, almost 10 years.
Yeah, the copper ID is I love it.
Yeah.
The best.
If you're a competitor in any sort of strength sport, probably the best way to go.
Yeah,
for sure.
for sure. I agree there.
Yeah, so I thought that was like interesting, and I just wanted to see your guys' point of view. Obviously, I'm all for the autonomy.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
agree on that.
better, have some wacky hormones than a
Unwanted
baby
children.
at 14. So
Yeah, well, that's the thing. What do you pick? most girls are gonna be like, I don't want to get pregnant. I'm gonna choose.
Has teen pregnancy gone down in the last
I
few
have
years?
not.
I feel like it has for some reason. Do you think that's because like there's more popularity these days that like kids are gross? I feel like
I hope so.
I feel like
I
that's
can barely, like I sometimes forget my dogs. Like I can't have a kid.
No
Guys,
way.
no, I haven't figured out myself. How the hell am I gonna?
I'm still 13 inside. Like
Yeah, like
this is
my
not gonna
mom
work.
had me when I was when she was 22, and when I was 22, I'm like, no way, I
No
could take your own
way.
fucking kid.
I think like obviously like when you have the kid, something changes.
Yeah.
Like you turn into mom mode, and you're obviously fine. You turned out great, but there's no way. My mom was 21, and like 21, I was just such a little asshole. I didn't know shit about shit. So there's no way I could have raised a good kid.
I'm still sure, and I'm like, Mom, how the hell did you do it with
How
3?
did you do it? I think it's just
Dude,
different.
I like still freak out making my own appointments. Like I am in no shape to
Calling the doctor, you're like,
What?
he's making a point.
Adulting sucks.
Having an anxiety attack.
Yeah, I still feel weird like buying alcohol. I'm like, how is this allowed?
Like you're not gonna ID me?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
This shouldn't be a thing. How am I an adult with like all my own stuff? This is weird.
But then I see that's where I'm like, are we that generation where we still think like that? Because I feel like kids nowadays try to grow up so fast. Because I'm like, all these 15-year-olds to me look like they're 20 freaking years old, and I'm like,
they're all doing like twerky dances on TikTok, and
it's like if you were ugly at 15, I don't trust you. You have to go through that.
Where's all the horse girls at?
Like I looked like so awkward. I didn't wear makeup until I was 18.
Yeah.
Not that I'm saying there's anything wrong, but
I had an emo. I was in my emo phase during those years.
I had that for like 2 years because my cousin was that little bit, and I'm like, oh, this kind of looks cool. I'm gonna see if this is my identity.
I was full in. Full in. Like I cut my hair off. It was like black and spiky and piercings everywhere and skinny jeans and going to like house shows.
Yeah, just be a little shithead. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I don't know, but I was always like, I'm like, I was ugly as fuck at some point, and I'm like, what the hell? It's like, no, I don't know how these girls look, like full grown boobs and everything. I'm like, I didn't get my boobs until
contours, highlights. It's like,
no, it's on fleek.
I barely had any eyebrows when I was freaking.
I know, I plucked them all off for sure.
I shaved half of mine by accident.
Yeah,
I never grew the same.
Well, it was like the 90s was like the skinny eyebrow. You know, like the Carmen Electra look. Yeah. Like skinny eyebrows.
Now that you look back, you're like, how the hell was that a trend? And I guess
I feel like it's coming back a little bit. There was like,
pull it off, but you have to have the right face.
You do.
But not for me.
No, we're gonna stick a little thicky. That's all.
Jesus,
I've been trying to grow these bad boys since 15 years ago when I shaved them off.
Every time I talk about my brows, Nick always has to say how perfect his brows are. Because
guys always have beautiful eyebrows
or eyelashes.
Yeah,
what? Because they've never plucked them, pulled them, make-upped them.
He's
their
like,
whole life.
I'm just a natural, and I'm like, oh
my God.
Stop. Like he thinks he's such a natural beauty. So I'm like, okay, whatever.
I mean, yeah, he's a good-looking guy.
Yeah, let him have it.
They wash their face with like Irish Spring soap once a week.
He doesn't even do that, and I bought him like Paula's Choice, I think it's called, like the. So he in the shower he can just do his face. Like, oh that shit, I just want water. And I'm like, dude,
why does it work though?
Yeah, I know. They're using like Suave or like Head and Shoulders. Like, it's like how?
How? And then there's you putting all this freaking expensive shit on your face, and they're like,
I know, you're like serum and freaking gua sha.
Yeah,
it doesn't
it's
work.
Not working.
No. The eyes rolling.
I found my skin is actually better when I don't do anything to it. When I try to put too much shit on it, it's a mess.
You overcomplicate it.
It's just so you walk into like Sephora or Ulta and you just see these fucking rows after rows and you're like, do I need this?
The pack,
Do I have to buy?
guys, the packaging
I don't
gets
even
me
know
every
what
time.
this is.
Same. If the package is cool, I'm buying it.
Yeah, they just
like peptide probiotics for my eyes. Like,
you're like,
do
I need that.
mushroom
Yeah.
complex?
No,
I bet it's like it's like flavored water.
I
always-
always want to be like the skincare girly or the girl who like gets ready every day or does her nighttime routine.
I'm
I
not that
cannot
girl.
get into it, dude. It lasts for like 5 days and I'm like, fuck this.
You try.
I've tried.
You put your little like.
Yeah, I got one of those.
me too. I never use. I just use my hair clip. I'm like,
You put your little under eye patches on.
Yeah.
no.
It's like the best you're getting out of me is a cleanser, an exfoliator, and a moisturizer. That's all I got.
Yeah, same. And a SPF. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, but my
Yeah.
SPF is basically my moisturizer too, so it's 2 in 1.
I do find that retinol has been pretty
I
helpful
heard that's amazing. I do want
as
to try
I
that.
age.
Yeah. But it's like,
Maybe a little Botox.
Yeah, exactly.
And that too. Yeah, I just got to top off.
I need to get
Oh, I need to
Botox.
go.
Same.
I got my 11s here. It's turning into
mine are
a
so bad.
11 now.
I can't even make that face.
Oh,
She's
I
like-
love that.
I'm trying. It's not working.
Hey, that's fine. Like I got extras for you just to
Yeah.
make it up for you.
You gave
But-
it all to us.
But
They say that they should not. You shouldn't do that in men though, because like that's a very like masculine, I guess, expression. So when you do it in men, it looks kind of weird.
Huh.
well, if you see a man with no expression, I feel like it's a little.
If I don't see a man like scowling a little
Yeah.
bit, then I'm like,
Like Nick has a lot of like the horizontal ones, and
Yeah.
I'm like,
He-
you need
wow,
Botox.
yeah, he raises
like-
his eyebrows a lot. Like
I know.
I feel like he's always,
Nick,
yeah. Like you see him on podcast, he's always like,
really? I haven't really noticed, but now I'm gonna start paying
pay
attention.
attention now. How many times he's like,
It's
Half
like
the time-
that. Or when he's in like off season, it's like the open mouth, heavy breathing.
Oh my god, guys. Okay, you know what's the funniest thing? I have so many obviously videos of him sleeping on my phone, but like the funniest thing is like around 11 because we've been going to bed a little later. He's been so into Selling Sunset. Okay, he's like
Amazing.
no.
I love that for
Yes.
him.
He's
I've
like-
watched it all.
he's like, oh, I think Christine is such a cunt, and I'm like,
Oh, so he's not on the latest season then?
no, he started from like season 1.
Okay.
Because I never even watched like past the second season.
Yeah.
So he's so into it, and now every night at 11-ish I am watching TV, and then I hear the heavy breathing, and then I hear like a random, and like I'm like, I know he fell asleep, and then he's like he turns off, because then I start looking at him, and then he just wakes up like nothing
Does he
happened.
pretend like he wasn't
Yeah.
sleeping?
But it's
Why
like
do
a
you guys
switch.
do that?
Shows that was so funny. I know they try and pretend
Like,
that
he
like
was-
they weren't.
I was
Yeah.
doing dishes. He was talking to me, and literally, like, not kidding. Like 10 seconds later, he starts snoring, and I was like, he was talking to me 15 seconds ago. How does he just turn off? Like,
Is that all men? Because I swear they just like fall asleep like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like it takes me like a process to like
I can't fall asleep right away
get to that point.
unless
Yeah.
I'm like super
I
tired.
can't be like talking and then all of a sudden 3 seconds
I
later
need to be
asleep.
like doing like my nighttime routine in order to
Yeah.
get ready to go to bed. I can't.
Like, you turn off completely.
Yeah.
So I'm
I
like,
guess it's
yo,
something about being like over 250 pounds where it's just like a shut off mode.
but I'm like,
Yeah.
you need to close your mouth. Yeah, he just kind of.
Get him to use that mouth tape, because have you seen like all the like evidence out there of like mouth breathing, how it changes your jaw structure?
Mhm.
So
Really?
if he wants to stay beautiful, then tell him he needs to close his mouth, because like there's something about like your chin starts receding, like it just changes like your jaw structure.
Well, yeah,
So-
because you're relaxing your muscles too much too. Like,
Yeah.
there's no like actual like activation to anything, so it's just like,
Justin has been trying the mouth tape because
well, he's doing the
He-
CPAP now. I think it's
well
like
he's
4
he
days,
doesn't
5 days.
necessarily need it right now. He's kind of started to like wean himself off of it for the last week or so, I think, because he has a problem where he sleeps with his mouth open. So when he
Yeah.
uses his CPAP, he kind of swallows a lot of air,
yeah.
and that is probably not something you want during peak week to be
Like
bloated,
bloated.
full of
Yeah.
air. So he's kind of come off of it this week, and he's been trying mouth tape. And it's sort of working.
Well, that's what he was doing, but he would remove it, and then now he's doing the CPAP. But I think that the leaner he gets, obviously, the less he's like, because he has no neck technically during your off season. So he's like this, and it was like scary how long he would just like gasp for air.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is
And
a big guy tip. So Joe, when he sits in the recliner and he's like heavier, he uses one of those neck pillows that you use on the airplane
Really?
to help support himself. And I guess it works really, really well.
Okay.
And then he sleeps.
I don't know how many big guys are listening, but
right?
if you are,
Yeah,
Nick is gonna be listening. He's probably listening right now.
He sleeps with
he's outside the door.
Yeah,
Right?
I think Joe told Nick about this, but he sleeps. Joe sleeps with a pregnancy pillow too, and that helps.
I want to get Justin that he needs it. He's a side sleeper
Yeah.
too, so everything
They're
kind of
amazing.
like
We both have our
crushes.
own pregnancy pillows, so it's like our pillows and then the dog's in between us. And it's
I love it. Dogs are such cock blockers too. Like,
no, dude, tell me about it. It's like I'm already not in the mood to do anything, and then when I am, the dog's
there's a dog. There's like two dogs in the middle, and you have to make it really obvious.
Yeah.
See, for
the dog.
nighttime, it just doesn't work for us because Nick just goes like shuts
really?
down like completely. He's like, my brain is like sleeping mode, and I'm like,
because if I
So
do
it's
it during
morning?
the daytime, I
don't
can't
like
do
morning.
time checks because I will die for the rest of the day. Like,
Really?
I'm like, you took it all out of me. Like I have no more energy now. I need to take it.
in the morning.
Yeah, so it's like our rule right now as I'm in prep, it's like it's got to be after
Well,
6 p.m.
I'm
Okay.
surprised. I'm surprised you're even
That
having
works.
any at this point because I'll be like, don't fucking touch me. I feel
It's
worked out.
very few and far between. I'm doing it because like
I'd be like, starfish me or
Yeah.
something because I'm like, I am not doing anything.
I'll lay here like a corpse.
yeah, because like last prep, I don't think we had sex for like 8 or 10 weeks, and I'm like trying to actively take care of my relationship while I'm in this
Yeah.
super selfish sport. So it's like in order to make him feel wanted and good, it's like okay, I can do that, you know. So I'm
Yeah.
You're so sick. You're so sexy. It's weird. Like,
my face on the pillow. I'm just like,
Get it over with.
I know it's such a struggle.
Or
Like
like
dogs
you,
do not make it easier.
see,
to
Tora
live.
doesn't. She just like gives us the look, and she just like lays down. She's like, fucking. Like she doesn't go on the bed anyway.
The Frenchies are in the bed, so
dude, Frenchies are the worst. Like Bruno, our older one, he won't really fuck with us, but we have a 2-year-old puppy, and he wants to be
yeah,
like on
in your
you
business
all the time. It's crazy, and so it
Yeah.
just
You're
doesn't work.
oh.
They just want to be a part of everything. I feel like,
And it's
They-
like
They're very curious. Yeah,
Yes.
like you're doing the
In your
thing, and they're like,
business.
yeah, we want to be part of this party. Are you guys playing?
Oh, what are we doing?
Yeah. They probably think you guys are playing or something. So it's funny. Like mine just doesn't give a fuck. So yeah. But I'll give you props for still being like somewhat active in that area because I know even for Nick, I think it was like 6 weeks. No, we went 7 weeks without like last prep, like the Arnold.
yeah,
And I was like,
I'll just take care of myself, I guess.
Like, yeah.
see, I like the thing is like even this like as a female, how do you like I don't usually like do so self-pleasing things. Like I don't know why. Like I don't know if every girl
really?
has a dildo, but I never was that girl who
You
had a
should get
dildo.
one.
You
You
should.
should get one.
Well, I actually got one. Like, it's not a dildo, full dildo. Like,
Mhm.
we're literally throwing all our dirty laundry out here. But, but like, it's not a full dildo. But I was like, this just doesn't work. It's just not
You
the
have to
same.
find the right one. The little
Yeah.
like vibratey ones that like the
Yeah. Yeah,
pulsing
'cause I-
ones.
Yeah, I was the same. I was like, I don't think this is everything it's cracked up to be. And then you gotta like search around and find what works for you. Because it's like I used to be more into like the self-pleasing, but then I was like, I'm in a relationship, I'll just have him do it. And then
Yeah.
you know?
Well, then,
Yeah.
you get used to that. And then I feel like that's when it gets taken away. You're just like, well, I'm like, are you horny? They're like, no. I'm like,
Yeah, it's gotta
"Ugh."
be plan B. Plan B, you gotta take care of yourself,
Yeah.
you
It's
know.
like I'll be right back.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, on that note, I want to make myself happy. But no, that was not like really a thing for me. But I think that comes with self-discovery as well, like self-discovering your own like ways to make yourself happy in that area as well, because I think we need to like be okay with being alone. We can make ourselves happy, and I think that comes with like self like pleasing as well in the sexual department. And I think that's something I never had a connection with, but as a female, I guess you have to like explore that too.
Yeah.
And I think that's, I'm working on it.
Yeah.
Well,
Discover more about yourself, more about what you like.
Don't like, and all that shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's healthy.
Well, yeah. Well,
and it's such a low pressure way, to relieve some stress. Like you don't have to, there's no foreplay, whatever.
No expectations of my hair looks good, or like
no,
like do I look
there's no performing at all. It's just all you.
They're like, oh shit, I'm bloated. Like no, like you guys think of those things sometimes, like because I do. I don't know.
Not anymore.
Not
after
anymore.
8 years together, it's like
you get what you get.
Yeah, because it's like I feel like when I feel like the least sexy, like Joe always finds a way to like make me feel wanted and accepted, and that's
great.
That's easy. Watch, Nick's gonna like be like, what's all these charges to the sex shop on my credit card?
Oh yeah, what is all this?
It's like $300 one, the one with like the one I've seen, the one that goes, it's like a butterfly,
whacking, tapping, licking,
and then
all
like,
at once.
Like the thing that goes in, and then there's the
one.
one.
I definitely see some crazy ones. Yeah.
Dude, there's fucking crazy attachments to shit.
What the fuck?
There's crazy shit.
I feel like those ones are more for like the girls doing the OnlyFans and using it as like a tool for their viewers rather than
like I saw like
I don't
like
need
actual
much
propeller thing, not propeller, but it looks like a drill. Like it just moves up and down.
Yeah,
like it's a machine. Like it's just like it completely goes like that. Jasmine's like mental notes.
I'm like,
research.
What do you call that exactly?
Which one? Where did you see that?
It's a thing. I'm not gonna say where I saw it, but
just send us the
No,
link.
I feel like the ones that are like,
sorry, Mom, if you're listening,
got like 3 attachments and they're doing all. I feel like those are more for someone
like
else to watch.
Someone performing, like actually performing.
But I have seen some crazy things though. Like TikTok, I was scrolling one day and there's this girl on there who makes bank on Only. She's making like 30-40 G's a month by like using like dildos that are shaped as like monster parts, like
crazy.
like tentacles.
That's on TikTok?
And she was just like, that was her other platform, but she's like, my spicy platform, like 40-50 G's a month, like sitting on. They were like this.
Holy shit.
Like tentacles and like monster looking dildo. It was fucking
If
insane.
OnlyFans and the internet told me anything, it's that there's a market for whatever you want to see.
That is another level for sure.
If you think of something, you like just know that it's being done.
Yeah.
Like
I know
there is
a girl that makes like $6 million a year off OnlyFans. It's insane.
Sex sells.
She's like bottling her farts and
dude, she's doing crazy shit on there though. She's like like strangers and like pizza guys and shit like that. It's crazy. But like
guys, I would want someone to like pay for a bottled fart of mine. Like
they would.
Yeah. You would sell your fart? I mean, do it. I'm sure you have an audience, you have a platform, you can do it.
There was like I saw some
next day you guys are gonna be like selling farts.
Dude, there was 2 girls that made like $150K off selling their bath water.
Oh yeah. Like after some guys like one like after the gym, like the one like the sweat. Like this guy was willing to pay for my sweaty socks after the gym. Like I'm like, why are you on?
And that's the thing. It's like with OnlyFans, like you don't even have to be like fucking on there to make crazy amount of money. You could be selling feet pics, clothes, like whatever. Girls cooking in their.
This guy who's always asking me for pictures of just me like showing my armpits, because sometimes when
armpits, what is with armpits?
I don't know.
What is with the armpits?
You have such beautiful armpits. I will pay for like an exclusive video of you, like, and I see all these ones or like my request, like that junk box, whatever that area. And sometimes I show it to Nick. I'm like, some fucking requests are just like out of this world. Like,
Do they hope that it smells?
Yeah,
Or
I
like, what do
think
they
so.
want?
like the way it looks. They have some like sort of like
There's some sort of taboo area. It's like some sort of taboo area.
Yeah, it's like
It's
because it's so
enticing.
weird, it turns them on. But I mean,
Yeah.
if Nick's bodybuilding career doesn't ever work out, you guys will be fine.
You know. Yeah, you know what to do, Maria.
I told him, I'm like, I want to take like some pole dancing like lessons because I know
do
I'm.
too.
I think that would be fun, actually. Like, it's pretty badass to see
And I'm
some
like,
girl
it's
like
a-
one hand
It's
and
a
they're like
backup skill to have. I'm like, what if all fails? Then I have backup skill. Not that
Dude,
I'm gonna do it. It's a joke, but
I did one class. It was harder
hard.
than anything I've ever fucking done.
Yeah.
I
Well,
was
you have-
sweating my ass off. Because it's
I
like
really want to try it.
you're sweating, but then this pole is spinning and your hands are fucking wet, but you got to keep holding it on, and then you
Oh
have
my
to like support your entire body. It's
Like a grip, it has to
And
like.
you have to be flexible.
Yeah,
Like,
like, I have
Or
such a respect for dancers after that. Like,
it's pretty incredible.
if
Yeah.
J-Lo can do it at 50 plus, we can do it.
that's true.
I just don't know if I have that mobility anymore.
I know.
She's like trying to
I'm like,
get her leg around the pole, just like trying to get.
No.
Hold on, let me stretch real quick.
I will pay to see us try some pole dancing classes.
I feel like that would be the most embarrassing thing in my
When are you
entire
going to be
life.
in Vegas, Jasmine?
Yeah,
I know.
I'm booking
doesn't
one.
Want to come because it's just like 45 minutes.
you guys. Okay,
Plain-
we're doing this. We're going to a pole dancing when you come. We're like
I'm so
three of
down.
us. I'm
That's-
down. I'm not trying this
Alright.
alone.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that. Nick
I
is
would-
definitely not coming with me.
He should.
No, he would break the poles for sure.
Yeah, no, this guy doesn't move that way. No. So definitely something that I want to be like, I can work with a pole, you know,
Yeah.
I can work the pole. So
Yeah.
It would be a good I feel like transfer over to like posing somehow.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
just I don't know that energy and
it
like
creates flow, and then
Yeah.
again, like that sexual energy that can translate in like to like into your posing into like
Mhm.
such an effortless way. I feel because I
Yeah.
think like it has to show your aura, you know.
Yeah.
and for
so-
me that's the hardest part of the posing is like the transitions is like not being like awkward.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
like turning.
You're like,
It's like,
Quarter turn,
like
robot. Guys,
it's just like what are my hands doing? The
Yeah.
fuck?
like if Arnold had to take ballet classes, like I always say,
He did.
you know,
Yeah.
that's so out of the comfort zone. So I think in order to find that piece of you, if you don't feel like girly enough, because you're like,
Yeah.
no, I'm rough and tough, but you also have to be like, you know, the sexual energy that females
Yeah.
have. And I think those things can actually bring it out of you. Because again, he took
I think
ballet.
I need to do that. I think I
Yeah.
need it.
Even
'Cause you're
like
like, fuck
dance
yeah, I'm
classes or
sexy.
something.
Yeah.
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 It's like, I'm going to show you. I'm kidding. No, like, it's just like, I can
I
get
feel
really
like Vegas would be like the one place where you could probably find something. You could
Oh,
find
yeah.
anything you want to do there.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. I
There's
mean,
so many
right?
places around here.
I feel like I've seen some weird things and I'm just like, what the shit? Like, definitely not in Canada. You don't see
Yeah.
that shit in Canada.
How do you
Canada's-
like Vegas compared to Canada?
Oh, I love it. Like, obviously, it was like quite the adjustment because everything is like dry and dry. Like, there's-
Dry.
We literally live in an oven.
yeah, and like I was like, well, this is completely different to what I'm used to. Even like Tora, she wasn't sure when I would take her on walks. It would just be rocks, and she's like,
Yeah.
"What am I supposed to be doing here?" Yeah, she's like, "Where's the grass?" So even for her, it took a
Where
bit
are
of
we?
adjusting. She didn't pee or anything on her walk. The first three
really?
walks because she wasn't sure where the hell to do it.
Yeah.
So I think she got the hint afterwards. But I definitely love it. I think US is obviously like for what we do.
Mhm.
It's obviously the place to be.
Mhm.
Even though like I from back home I miss like Pure Muscle because that's like such a sick gym to be at in the
Yeah.
community and everything. But I think in order to grow and to in what we do, I think it's here you get like the perfect people to network with or to like meet. Like, you know, it's just like totally different vibe.
That's
and the
exactly
weather.
because like moving out to Vegas, I was like, there's so much opportunity. I like talk to people that I used to follow, and I'm like, I would never talk to them, and now it's like I see them every day, and it's so weird. It's like, how am I becoming one of these people that but okay, cool. Like,
Yeah, cool.
Mhm.
yeah,
Like I used to see it like flex. Like for
yeah,
example, it's like, and now he just like, "Hi Maria," like he comes and hugs me like just
yeah,
randomly, and then same with Jay Cutler. Like, it's just like. Then he followed me on Instagram, and I was like having a moment. I'm like, holy fuck, Jay Cutler's following me.
Flex is very nice. He's such a nice guy.
he's
Yeah.
so great. Yeah,
Yeah, everyone's so nice, and obviously like I think this like there's so many gyms too now like that are opening, like the torture gym. Now there is like like elevation, so many places where you can go, and then there's a different group of people, but they're all so welcoming. It's like,
yeah,
and there's a whole community that sky's the limit, you
yeah.
can collab with people. It's crazy. It's
I think it's
actually
because
crazy.
like everyone here is like a transplant, and everyone who's here wants to be here. So like, I
Yeah.
feel like everyone's a lot more happy and like welcoming. It's like Midwest hospitality almost here, which is weird.
I never thought about that. Yeah, because I feel like most people who live in Vegas moved there,
Yeah,
Yeah.
like not born there or
Yeah.
like raised there.
mhm,
Yeah. So it's hint, it's time to move.
yeah.
I know. Well,
If you didn't get the message, then there is the message.
I know we're in a pretty small town. It's like I think Justin really feels the absence of like having that community and other people and that bodybuilding like support.
Yeah.
I think he really feels it sometimes. And
Yeah.
it's like
And that was the same with
Let's
Nick
go.
in Tampa. Like the community there is there, but it's really small. So he didn't feel like it was like fully there, and he felt like something was missing. So when he came here, he felt right at home, just because like I said, it's such a big community in what we do, the bodybuilding. And in the bigger like picture, bodybuilding is like really such a small industry.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
here it's just like such a big
It's everywhere.
thing, Yeah. So
Is it? Yeah, my little brother lives out there, so I don't
Oh,
know,
shit.
maybe.
hey,
He just got his little real estate license. And
Oh.
he's like 24, 25.
That's
oh yeah,
cool.
he's young.
I'm excited to
We're
see
old.
him.
Wait, how old are you, Bri?
I just turned 27. I forgot it was just my birthday.
Well, happy
is your-
birthday.
It was my birthday on the 10th.
Oh, happy
Aw,
belated.
birthday.
Thank you. I
So
didn't
just
really
27?
celebrate. Yeah.
Wow. Well,
Yeah, I'm a
you're
baby.
getting closer to 30, I'll tell you
I
that.
know.
30's great, though. I love 30s.
Yeah, I honestly, it sounds kind of like, oh shit, I'm getting old, but honestly, it's just like it's fun in a way.
Yeah, I don't think I don't look at like aging as a negative, because it's just like that just means I'll know who I am. I'll have
Yes.
more life experience. That means like hopefully by that time I'll be pretty settled down and like and more stable, because it's like I'm fine now, but it's like that just I'm looking forward to being 30 or in my 40s and seeing what I'll
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, especially if now you're working towards the goals that you want.
Yeah.
Everything is compounding year after year.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the whole purpose of things. And I feel like at 30, you kind of are still discovering yourself at the same time, but you're in a very like more stable position to know
Yeah.
who you
Yeah.
are. And like, I guess.
Just a little bit more sure of yourself.
Yeah.
And some of those I mean, we all still have insecurities,
Yeah.
but I
Mhm.
think some of those ones that you experience when you're in your early 20s, you start to realize that they're not important.
Yeah. It's
Mm-mm.
like I
So
feel like
minuscule.
I am a grown adult, but I can't wait to, and like I'm well on my way there, but it's like I can't wait to feel like I'm a full grown woman, like I'm concrete in the things that
Yeah.
I'm doing. I'm sure of myself, because like I still think of myself as a kid, because I am, because it's like I'm around other adults. I'm like, I don't feel like I'm on the same level yet, which is
Yeah.
fine. It gives me something to work towards, but I'm very much looking forward to that.
Like that one time we went to that mansion, I was like, holy
Dude.
fuck.
I was like, how do people build a life like this? I was like, what?
Like we went
I want it.
to a $6 million house.
Yeah, it was
Really?
It looked over the entire strip, like all of Vegas. It was insane.
Insane.
Jealous.
Me and Joe were like parking, and we were walking up, and I was like, "Oh my god, I feel so poor."
It was literally like a 10-car garage. They had- yeah, it was crazy.
Isn't it crazy how like the top wealthiest in the world have like all the wealth in the world? I forget the actual percentages, but it's like
It's very
the top.
small.
They have like all the entire wealth of the world belongs to like a 6%.
It's like
Top
very
percentage.
small, and then everyone
Yeah.
else is like in between. And
Yeah,
then there's like the lower
Yeah.
end, which is like
But the difference between the wealthiest and even like top middle class is astronomical.
yeah,
yeah, it's like they have fuck you money.
Yeah. Dude, his fucking toilet seat warmed you. Like it
Yeah.
was warm and it had buttons on the wall. I was like, how the fuck do you work this?
Yeah. I was like, I guess this one's for
It plays
P.
music.
The other one's
and-
number 2.
Yeah.
So tech, like, and I was like, well, one day.
Yeah. Had like fucking Maseratis in the garage. Like, they had like 6 cars. I'm like,
Yeah. But see, I don't
Awesome.
ever feel jealous. I always feel like this is kind of like
Inspiring,
yeah.
yeah.
It's like, you know, I feel like there's where you kind of also get to know your intentions or like who you are as a character. It's like, do you get jealous or like you're like, oh, these people are lucky? Like, you know,
well, and
some
it's like,
people get really bitter about
yeah,
things.
well, it's like you are the sum of the people that you hang out with. So
Yeah.
like if I hang out with like-minded individuals who are motivated, who have more than me, eventually if I put the work in, I will be that too.
Yeah, if you take it that
Yeah.
way, because other
Yes.
people turn to jealousy and like they're like, these people are against me. They're lucky. I never had it this way, or
Yeah.
they had it easy.
Or
Then
they're like,
I-
must be nice mentality,
Yeah.
you know. Oh, that must be
Yeah.
nice. Like
then
that
that's
is
gonna
such
get
a
you
killer.
nowhere. So
Yeah.
I feel like, and that's the thing with like girls too, supporting other girls.
Mhm.
It's like if you see her winning, I'm like, I'm all for it. Like,
It doesn't take anything away from you.
no,
Yeah.
Yeah.
no. How is
Don't you
that?
think it's weird how like in the animal world it's like the men are competing and the women can be playing? Why is it opposite for humans?
I don't know.
Because we're stupid.
Why can't they get all dressed up and look pretty for us and we just like sit back in our
I
If
know.
plain brown feathers and watch them?
Yeah, it's always the men just try to like do something to like impress the women, like, and actually like mate. But here it's like us trying to freaking bend backwards.
Yeah, well, where are the peacocks with the bright feathers, you know, instead of it being the other way around? Like,
Why? Because society made us this way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I blame society.
Yeah. I hate it here.
I don't blame myself. It's not my fault. I came into this world without asking, and now I'm
like,
just like,
totally not playing into these gender roles or anything. It's fine.
no, like, guys. So now I watched a reel, and I showed Nick, and it was like, this girl said her name, and then she's like, my pronouns are she and her, and I'm like, so is that now how people present themselves? Like, my name is Maria. My pronouns are she, her, and
I don't even think about it. Like,
I have a hard, like, I respect everyone's pronouns. I just have a hard time saying it because it's grammatically wrong.
yeah,
she, her.
you're like
Or-
they, but it's only one singular person.
Yes.
I can't do it. It feels wrong.
My brain gets too confused to say, like, they when I'm talking about one single person.
You like want to say it.
Yeah,
Yeah. So,
it's
yeah.
one.
Be whatever you want to be, but goddamn.
you. Yeah.
just keep it simple.
Yeah.
Make it make sense.
I
That's
wonder, Maria, how that would be in Spanish.
all.
Would you have to say ellos or?
No, ella, ella. Like if I'm trying to say ella,
Yeah, but if it's a them,
oh, ellos, 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 ellos.
and wouldn't that be weird though?
Nosotros, ellos. Like it would be like us. They.
But it's just one person.
Yeah, it would be ellos, like plural, which is so grammatically
Which-
incorrect.
Yeah, it's so
That's why it
wrong.
confuses me.
I think they just refer to like because they're different and they're like they're their own group, so they are they. I think that's the way they make sense of it.
Yeah.
Because they're not she or he.
Yeah, so it's a group, so it's they, the group of people.
Yeah. And then they're like they're differentiating like women from, I don't know how to say the politically correct word, like trans women from like actual women. They call it like a child birthing or bearing person, meaning like a natural born woman.
I have heard so many different.
Yeah.
Oh, like Nick was like signing up to this app for the CPAP, and it was like gender, and it was like an option. I'd rather not say. Like he's like, why the fuck would anyone not want to say what they are? And I'm like, I don't fucking know. They just put it as an option. Like he's just getting frustrated out of the fact that he's like, how is that even an option? You can't identify yourself? I'm like, maybe they're unsure. Like really?
Yeah.
I think that there are genuinely people out there who don't feel like they fit into either.
Yeah. So they just don't want to categorize themselves as
Yeah.
anything. So
Yeah.
you just put, I'd rather not say.
Yeah. No thoughts, just vibes,
It's a complicated world, I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
And I feel
yeah,
like anything you say or do can be used against you.
Yeah.
yeah,
So where's the freedom of speech without having to get all the backlash too? So it's like, do we have
yeah.
freedom of
It's like
speech?
it's hard to say things or an opinion without somebody getting offended, and even if you don't mean it in a malicious manner, which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
That's
And
why
I
I can't I have trouble sometimes saying my viewpoints on social media and stuff.
Mhm.
I'm a very opinionated person. I will say what I mean, but when it comes to topics like this, it's what is the right answer here? If I say one thing, someone's gonna be mad. If I say something else, someone's gonna be mad. So I
yeah.
just
Because
there's
some people are reading between the lines and then they just take things like whatever context they want to take them, and
yeah.
then they say something that you did not even mean to say. So then
Hmm.
now you're like, fuck.
Welcome
So
to
if
the internet.
yeah, you don't win
Yeah,
regardless.
yeah,
So it's like, okay, what we're gonna do? So
yeah.
it's like Nick his YouTube video, he's working with this guy, and
Uh-huh.
then he's like, yo, I keep seeing these comments about where's Maria, where's Maria, where's Maria, because I'm not on his videos anymore. And then Nick is like, what the fuck? The one time I try to bring her on my channel, she gets shit for it. Like she got completely demolished, and now everyone's asking where she is.
Did you? Were they mean? Did they leave some mean comments?
Well, when we did the Q&A, I don't know if I think we talked about it. I got demolished,
Why?
like demolished. Well, apparently everyone else, you can cute couple, blah blah blah. Then we did a Q&A, and then Nick was like, I think 2 weeks out from the Arnold. So he asked me, he's like, can you please just take the lead? I know it's my channel. So I introduced the channel, I introduced the video, and then I was kind of answering the question, and he was just kind of like adding on top of them.
Huh.
And I guess people took that as like me being like completely like trying to take over or crazy. So they're like, run, this one's crazy, she's with you for cloud, and whenever you
What?
lose the whenever you lose the Olympia, or like whenever she gets what she wants, she's gonna go. Oh my god, it was horrible, literally horrible. And like
Why
there,
would you choose to be? Why would you choose? I mean, like if okay, let's say
I was called
if you were
psycho
looking for a
several
clout, why would
times.
you choose to be with someone? Not, I'm not saying like Nick's like at all a bad person to be with, or that relationship is not a good relationship, but like
It's
why
tough
would you
being with a
choose that?
bodybuilder. Yeah,
Why would you choose that if you could choose
if you
something
really
else
want to
that's
go for cloud
easier?
money, you will go for like
There's a lot easier options
yeah,
out
Yeah,
there.
like an NFL, NBA. If you really want to get like those guys will like
yeah,
you can get the club. I feel like those
yeah.
guys are always partying. So I feel like why would I just literally sacrifice my life in Canada to come here for clout? Are you kidding me?
I think it's
So
when you're in a this is a shitty term because we're in a very niche world, but a high profile relationship or someone in the
yeah,
media, people take little snippets of what they see
yeah,
about your relationship and
draw
think that's the
conclusions.
entire thing. And it's
Yeah,
you don't see us every day. You don't know what our interaction is. You don't know what our love is like. Why are you making these judgments off of 30 seconds?
yeah, it's
It doesn't,
crazy.
it doesn't make any sense. And it's just those people are just fucking miserable, and they're
Yeah,
probably single and lonely, and they have nothing better to do.
it was like it was like literally like there was 2 comments out of hundreds. Like 2 good comments out of 100. Like literally,
Okay,
that's
well,
how
Nick
bad
has
it
a
was.
lot of. Nick is quite polarizing. You know, I think he has a lot of fans that
Haters
are.
and
Yeah.
like, yeah,
He has a lot of haters, a
yeah,
lot of and like just fans that are just like,
criticizing him all the time for whatever he does.
yeah,
And then
and so that's gonna like spill over, and unfortunately, you're gonna get part of that. But
like
How do
he
you
no longer
handle
cares.
those? How does it affect you?
Well, at first he used to like he
Yeah.
had to turn off the comments because he saw how upset I was,
Uh-huh.
because I was doing videos with him during that time because he didn't have a video guy, like a
Mhm.
videographer. So people wanted to see content, and I was like, hey, I'll just film your workouts, I'll do everything, like we'll film here and there, make content for people. They wanted a Q&A, literally they wanted a Q&A.
Yeah.
That's I would get requests on my own Instagram. So exactly that's what we did. So I felt shitty because I'm like, what am I doing wrong? And then I was like, I'm doing nothing wrong. So
Yeah.
but Nick doesn't even really talk that much. He's not a very like talkative guy. So
no,
what did they?
I think that I came off
What
really
did they?
strong. You know how I talk, and like it may
Yeah.
seem like I'm being like like the one that wants to take over, rule his life. They're like, she's going to ruin your career. And then those things really got to me because I'm like, holy shit, I have nothing but good intentions. But then I'm like, these people, I don't know these people. They don't
I
know
just
me.
think like a really well-spoken woman is often criticized because she's using her voice.
Yeah. And I don't think people like that because then you
No.
come off as psycho
Yeah.
or like
Mhm.
you.
Especially when you're with someone like you were saying, high profile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They probably expect his like dominance and his energy to overshadow you or keep you quiet or whatever.
But it's like that, like you compliment Nick. Like,
Yeah. Because
so
I don't see him with like a submissive, like very like quiet girl. Like I think your partner has to match your energy
yes.
and like not be the same, but you guys kind of have to like complement each other on that
Be
level of
equal.
energy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's where people are like, whoa, she's too much. So she's gonna ruin you because now she's not suppressing to your ways, you know?
Yeah.
Because I stand to like my own ways to see things, do things. Can I like a couple compromise? Yes, always
Yeah.
comes down to that. Otherwise, it doesn't work. But I feel like people have the wrong way to see things, and I think there is where like the all the freaking manhood thing that I hate so much is like you cannot be like outspoken and like firm with your words because otherwise you're completely a bitch or like you know like a controlling psycho. That's what
Yeah,
they see it as.
Sorry,
like,
I'm just
run.
a human being with my own thoughts and opinions and emotions.
And I like to verbalize them.
Yeah, and then
that's
it's
like one thing that
So
you'll like.
sorry.
It's one thing when you're in the eye, like the public eye, that you'll just never win.
No, and that's
Yeah.
when Nick has come to terms. Either like he's like, I don't care if they tell me I'm gonna die. I don't care if they tell me I have small legs. He's like, I've heard it all at this point. So he's so desensitized to things because he's like, I've heard it all. Like if you come to me and tell me these things, it's like people told me I wasn't gonna get better, and look where I am. It's like it's so pointless. So I kind of like learned that from him because I kind of just started to look at things the way he looks at them, and then I literally don't give a shit. Like now, it's like someone comments something on my thing, like someone commented on my butt and said, "Oh, about I talked about the skin texture and a cellulite and all that
Yeah,
stuff,"
I saw that.
and someone was like, Nick probably keeps it really tight with like all the banging that he does, like something like that, and I'm like, holy shit,
Dude.
like it's only like. I'm like, you really like are so brainless. Like you have to say something.
Well, I think because
so
of the podcast, Fuad's podcast, where they talk so much about sexual things like that, people feel entitled to
that's what
speak
Nick was
on it
known,
because they feel like they have like intimately witnessed it, or they are privileged to knowing those details that they feel like they can speak on it.
Yeah. Well, it's because honestly, like I told Nick, I'm like, you were not the way you were speaking about women kind of was like very degrading. And
I don't think that was him. I don't know. Like I feel like when I met Nick and when
completely different.
It was not this.
No,
not that he was inauthentic, but it was not the same person.
No,
that I felt like I had seen on the podcast.
Yeah, because he would like be like pounding girls here and there, and like all these things, and I'm like, holy shit! And then I would just watch this guy, and I'm like, hear these things, how he's so arrogant, and then he would speak like that about women, and then I'm like, do I really want to get myself in this? Like, I am so against all this.
I know, like those would have been red flags for me.
Yeah. So then I'm like, okay, well, I was like, I'm gonna live life. Fuck it. I'm just like, and then I got to know him. It's completely the opposite. So I think it was the environment that he was being like, he was just like to be like this jokester, like not very like, that's why people are he's low IQ.
You can't let him listen to this one.
Oh, he's probably like in the living room gonna be like, what the fuck are you guys talking about me so much?
Don't let him listen to this one. We love you, Nick. You're great. You're so awesome.
I've told him this so many times, and I know like this was this girl. I don't want to say her name, but like she was like, she actually said something I think online about him, saying that he was like completely derogatory when he spoke about women or something like that. I'm like, I do not disagree, because I'm like, when I will hear those things about you, I'll be like, yeah,
I think that's just like how men think that, how they think they should talk.
It's like locker room talk.
It's
you
like
know?
he's like, I just did it for entertainment. But then
Yeah.
he's like, I realized that was like the one side of me that I am not, but it was just such a like jokester thing to say on the podcast that it was just the wrong podcast to be
Yeah,
on.
you're just like adapting to the environment that you're in.
And that's why now they're like he's like, oh, this is a total different side of Nick that we didn't know. Like he talks about his training, like more like intellectual stuff that people didn't know about him because he was made to be this like vulgar person online, and that's all he was known for.
Nick is like way more soft spoken than I expected him to be.
He's a teddy bear.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's a teddy bear for sure.
Yeah.
And that's why people are like, he's
And
so
a lot
likable.
more deep thinking than what you would think.
Yes.
Yeah.
He has thoughts.
Yeah. Actually has. So for those who are still like low IQ, I hate when people say that about him because I'm like, you don't know anything about Nick, but
Yeah.
that's all they got to know.
Yeah, all you see is posts and captions. You don't have conversations with him.
Yeah, that's why podcasts I feel like are so much more deep, like so much more depth into who you really are and your character that people learn to appreciate that more than when you just see a picture that is so vain, right?
Yeah.
So, and like that's why I think me doing this podcast was like such a scary thing for me, but like now I feel so comfortable because I told Jazz, I'm like, this feels like therapy every time we do it because not only do we talk about real shit and you get to know about like people like you that see things in a different light, and then it makes you think twice. Like you're like, oh, that's a really interesting point that I never thought about. You know, it's like you don't know it all. You're always going to be learning in life if you want to progress, and I think that's what I learned from like you pick from like people's brains and experiences, and I think it's like reading a book, right? But just now just like completely being open to the world. So that's why bringing you on was a total different perspective because again, you guys are like, I'm the weak little in this group when it comes to weight, but I'm trying, and then it's my mind stops me.
Yeah, you got bikini and figure and women's physique. Like we're all different.
Yeah, it's true. Oh yeah, you get some like a little variety of categories here. Yeah. But yeah, it's just in my head. I'm like, I did. What did I do?
You didn't start out with like strength sports, did you? Like,
no.
You know, me and Bri, like when we first started working
out, I was a cheerleader.
I was strong.
Oh, really?
Like that's all I wanted was like I wanted to get stronger.
Yeah, no, I didn't do that.
Like, I don't care about what I look like. Like that's not for me. Yeah. I just wanted to like get stronger. So
see, that was never like my thought.
Started.
It was like I was a cheerleader. I wanted to look good, and then I did basketball, soccer, and I did track and field too. Like, but that was like a very short like phase of my life, and then obviously got into working out. But I was the girl. You know how they say Latinas have like the curviest bodies and like big asses and all these things, and I'm like, am I a fake copy of a Latina here?
Where is it?
I'm like, where the hell?
Look back
like Shakira, like hips don't lie. I'm like, mine are fucking lying because I'm like, I don't have hips. Yeah, I was literally like, I don't have hips.
Were you pretty straight up and down?
I was literally, I had like a pear body, like I don't like upside down pear because I was like the like narrow hips, and then I had like the square waist, and as a kid you're like awkward looking, and I was not. I was kind of like a chubby kid. And then I was like, at some point, am I going to grow a butt or what? What is going on? So to this date, we're still trying to build a butt. But like, obviously, puberty helps. That's why I'm like, holy shit, these girls, like at 15, they already look like they have it all figured out with like their shape and everything. I was like completely awkward looking for a Spanish girl. And I hate when people say that because I'm like, now I'm putting myself into a box and I have to like fixate myself to the fact that I don't look like that. So I'm like, am I supposed to? So now I just go with it. I think
we just have so much exposure. Like when back then you weren't that connected. You didn't see these people. You weren't privileged to seeing the bodies of millions of girls online. And now that you are, I think you're just seeing, you
don't know what's fake or real now. Like surgeries are so freaking like seamless now that you're like, well, who has a fake butt here? Because I can't tell.
Everybody's got a BBL. Yeah.
Or like a tummy tuck, or like the.
I knew a girl who got a nose job at 16. Like, it's crazy, dude. Because she was bullied in school. She was Armenian. She had a bigger nose. She got made fun of so much. that she convinced her parents to get her surgery. It's like there's
See,
that's tragic because like those are so, you know, these are things that tie you to like your heritage and your culture, and like everyone's gonna end up looking the same.
Everyone looks the same.
Starting to. It's like everyone's got the big lips and the Botox, and
I feel like everyone in Miami looks the same. Like no shade to Miami girls, but like I feel like the ones that are in the same industry, I feel like they're all starting to, not in bodybuilding I'm talking specifically, but I'm talking about like club scene or OnlyFans, whatever.
Like
they're all look the same.
Miami is Gucci bags, bodysuits, BBLs.
And lips.
Like that
and
is
extensions,
and extensions and all that shit. And
it's like it's losing its authenticity to who you are or what makes you different. And I get it. And I get it. You want to feel the
pressure. Like even me, like I'm confident in myself, but I feel pressure to
to look a certain way.
Because like I wasn't like chubby, but I was never like, I never had ass or hips. Like I was always like very athletically built. So I never looked like I was never the fucking size 2. Like I was always size 8. Like I'm a big girl, you know? So it's hard to, cause like, obviously we didn't have TikTok and stuff like that, but like Tumblr, like that blog and all that shit and all the Fitspo girls and all the tiny girls. Like I wanted to look like that so bad. And it was literally not genetically possible.
Or the couple goals on Tumblr, guys. Like remember like how these people were like, the guy will be holding the girl, and I feel like if he ever grabs me, like I'm not gonna look like that. I'm gonna
be lumpy.
I'm like, that ain't looking that cute. That's for sure.
So no, and like those things are probably edited. You know, like that's not even real. The person in that picture probably doesn't even look like that.
It's so unrealistic. It's crazy. All the shit that we've like being fed on like throughout time, and it's just like, I don't know. I think it like fucked me up a little.
But it's what's horrible. It's like guys think that that's what you're supposed to look like. No, it's like they're like, I want a girl who doesn't wear makeup. But then like their idea of a girl not wearing makeup has got like contour and everything.
Okay, if you really pay attention, for example, I'm gonna say like for example, Sebum here, like someone so high elite, like you don't see them dating anyone like that's like such fake looking person. Like Courtney is like the most natural looking girl,
natural,
and it's like such natural beauty. Embraces her skin, her like no makeup, her hair, everything. And I feel like that's even Nick is like, I don't like fake. I don't like like too much. Like don't change your face. Like don't mess with your face. Like it's just the last thing you want to do. And then I feel like he's like, I just don't like what's so good about fake. And I think that a lot of guys are steering towards that. Because I think that the more you start to change yourself, your appearance, or how you dress, or how you try to impress people, I think they become more less of what you have within you and more so what you look like. And then guys don't even bother to get to know you deeper because all they see is like this front, right? So I don't know. It's just it's a time where you don't as a guy you don't know how far to go or what to go for. And as a girl, you don't know how far to take it, you know? You're like, am I doing this for me or to just fit in?
Yeah.
And like, it's a never ending thing. And it's sad, but whatever.
It's something that I've struggled with forever. Cause it's like, you want to go out and get dressed up and then you see all the other like Instagram looking girls and you're like, I don't fucking look like that. Like, but it's like, they don't even look like that. You know, even if you see them in person, it's like, they've got surgery or whatever, and that's fine, do what you want, but it's like the makeup and all this other shit, and it's like that's not them. No, it's not.
And then you just gotta send a picture to Goob you whatever. Be like, did she Photoshop her picture?
Goob you. Okay, Goob you, tell me.
Yeah, Goob, tell us.
He's pretty ruthless, man. He goes
something
hard.
else, man. Good God.
I don't even edit sometimes, and I'm like, does this line look crooked? And I'm like,
I'm like tracking the lines in the back.
And sometimes it looks like it. Like, for example, in this picture, I literally overthought it. Like this picture, like, you know, when you have cellulite, like this is my butt picture. But you know how you have dimples and like cellulite, and then it's just like, it doesn't look like round. It looks like it's dented. And I'm like, are people going to think that I mess with this picture? But I'm like, it's actually like my cellulite dimple there that makes my ass not look round, and it looks a little dented there. So, and then you start to fucking question yourself. Like, I haven't even touched the picture, and why am I questioning
Well, because
myself?
now there's some chicks who are like photoshopping themselves or like emphasizing roles and stuff like that to make themselves more relatable, and it's forced.
Yeah.
What? They're photoshopping the other way now?
The body positivity movement is getting a
Yes.
little out of hand.
It's out of
No
hand, dude.
way.
It's
Yeah.
I have not seen this.
There's some crazy shit on the internet.
It's just stage shit, and like it's like
They're like
purposely.
adding cellulite.
yeah, it's like, or showing like purposeful, like unflattering pictures. It's like, of course your fucking stomach is gonna roll over.
Yeah,
You're
anybody
bending
can
down.
look unflattering. Yeah.
No matter
Yeah.
how lean you are. Like,
Yeah.
you make
You
yourself
still
look-
have rolls.
yes,
like skin
there's
rolls.
skin there.
Yeah, it's called skin and organs. Yeah.
Literally, you're human, and it's just like something so like people think that when you're lean and you sit down, you're gonna look. No, I also have a tiny waist, but if
Yeah.
I look bloated, I actually don't look like that.
Yeah,
Like-
it's like I still have skin rolling over other skin right now as I'm sitting down. It's normal.
Yeah, right. It's just like a thing that is like so not like you like people do not speak on so much because it's like picture. I do that myself. I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck, I gotta find the right angle because then
Yeah.
I feel like I'm too thick, and like
Yeah, and
I
it's
get
like,
comments. It's like you're eating a lot, or like people
Yeah.
like the Q&A. Sometimes
Yeah,
I
you
put the
look big.
questions,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
like you definitely are not competing this year, and I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, yeah, I
Dude.
said I'm not competing. The
and
fuck
it's
telling
like,
me that?
how do I post the highlights and the lowlights where I look fucking shredded or I look kind of thicker, and how do I make it genuine without people feeling like it's forced?
Yeah,
Because I can just say like, hey, this is normal, but then people are like, oh, she's trying to push an agenda, like this body positivity stuff, and it's like,
yeah. No, this is just me
Yeah,
sharing.
No, this is just literally this is my day to day.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like Shark Week. I
Yeah.
I look 3 pounds heavier.
yeah.
Deal with it. I watched this reel. Speaking of this, they're like, that apparently females and males should actually like embrace Shark Week sex
Mhm.
because apparently it's better. Like it feels better. And I'm like, I don't know about that.
I don't think my insides feel very good.
I don't
No.
feel it physically. I feel like I want to even do it.
I feel gross.
Yeah.
There's gonna be
It-
what the mouth do.
Yeah.
I think there's just a lot of cramping and like
Yeah.
internal pressure that does not want to be
It's just
jabbed.
mess.
Yeah.
It's just a mess. It's
But,
like a
like,
crime
these-
scene.
Yeah, people don't care though. They're like, fuck it, lay down a tarp, and I'm like, ugh, no
No.
thanks.
Maybe the shower. Like I'm like shower.
Yeah, you could do that.
Shower.
But
But
that, it's very awkward sometimes in the shower, though.
But
Yeah,
dude, shower
slippery.
sex sucks, dude. I hate it.
It's too slippery.
It's
The water is not like
it's not a lubricant.
it's friction. It causes like
I
And then
can't
you have
even like. I don't feel safe that Nick's not gonna like fucking slip and fall and there goes his fucking career. I'm like, no, I don't want to be responsible for that.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to be standing up. This is fucking exhausting. There's
Yeah.
no lube in here. It's hot and I'm sweating now in the fucking shower, and there's not enough room for us both.
Yeah, and your hair is
No.
like here, and then it's
you have to
water
have a
in
big
your
shower.
eyes.
Yeah,
It's just
like
not
always-
pretty.
All the movies make it seem like, yeah, this is fucking
it's
hot.
like hot, and they're throwing you up against the wall. But, like my shampoo's there. My shower caddy.
Yeah, like they're like this, like against the freaking shower. You're like, I do
Dude.
not look like that. I
Dude,
do not.
my off-season 170-pound ass is not going up in the air. There's no way.
Okay, if they try to pick you up, that's the thing I'm scared about.
I'm terrified. I
I'm
don't care
like,
how
no, no.
strong Joe is. Don't pick me up.
No, because someone will slip, and then there goes 2 of you down, and then no,
Yeah,
and then
everyone
to
loves
be
that.
like, if he falls on top of me, forget it. There goes
You're dead.
Maria.
You're
Yeah.
literally dead.
There
Yeah,
goes-
they're not very coordinated.
No.
No,
So I don't. I
It's
don't
like
trust.
how much like do you weigh, Maria?
I'm
compared to-
as of this morning 126.
Yeah, and so
And
Nick
he's
is
290.
Yeah, no, you die.
I don't stand a chance.
If he landed on top of you, oh my God.
Well, that's why people are like, how does he like do the like
Yeah, does
on
he
top
crush
of you? He can't. He gets tired because he's like, I gotta hold myself. So
Yeah, strong
then-
triceps.
because then you start to feel the weight a little. And
Yeah,
you're like,
lock out the arms, you know.
but then he starts getting tired. Then he starts putting his weight on me, and I'm like, And then your hair gets tucked, and then his hand is on your hair, so he's pulling your
Oh
hair.
God, I hate that.
And then you're
when they put their.
And
I'm
then
like,
it's hot, and it's like, ugh, get off me.
yeah, just no. And he has big legs, and just like,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
You
no,
have to
this
have
is
like
not.
2 fans going. Like,
Yeah,
it's too hot, dude.
yeah, it's
What straddling him when he's that big too is like your legs are like this,
yeah.
like doing
Guys,
the split.
People wonder like how like the size difference, and I feel like that's what people, especially that was what I would think when I would see this big ass guy and this little girl, and I
Yeah.
know that people look at
Yeah.
us and they're like, first thing that comes to their head is, how the hell does this even
Well,
work?
I
Like,
wonder.
this is no Lego.
Have you seen
like,
Thor and his wife?
Dude, that is
No,
a
that's-
crazy size difference.
That is
Who?
interesting. I want to know about Thor, the guy
Thor
who was in
Bjornsson, he's a
Yeah.
strongman. He's like
oh yeah.
almost 7 foot
like-
and like 400 pounds, and she's like 4'11" and probably weighs like
Yeah, she's
115.
tiny.
Or like Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah.
too.
And yeah.
When I saw the
Now
guy, I
that,
was like,
now that I'd be interested in learning about.
yo, this guy made Nick look like a kid when they took a picture together. Hold on, I gotta find it.
Did they get a picture? Oh,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
That's
Um,
amazing.
because I don't know how they do it. Like, if people think about Nick and I'm like, yeah, you should like probably
You
should.
seen
go-
Eddie Hall trying to do bodybuilding?
Yeah.
I don't know who that is. Oh yeah, the strong man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look,
Is
I mean,
he-
whatever do you, boo?
Is
But
he still trying to do bodybuilding?
yeah,
Guys.
yeah.
Oh my god. That looks like Shaq's son.
That looks like a baby.
that's Nick and Shaq.
Dude,
So
Wow.
That's a funny thing about big dudes, because like Nick is like what, 5'6", 5'7", and Joe is
5'7" and a half.
Joe is 5'7", and it's like I never imagined myself with a shorter male because I've always been
But they're
attracted to
big men.
But because they're so big, it makes them tall.
Compensates. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It makes up
Because
for
you
it.
don't want like a taller guy if they're
Yeah.
like skinnier than you. When
Yeah.
you're just like, well, do I pick you up? Like, does this
Yeah.
like are roles reversed? Like, I will never.
pick you.
Dude, I just don't understand. This is gonna sound so.
Do I put you against the wall?
But like,
Yeah.
I don't understand how men don't like. Some men don't have muscle. It doesn't make sense to me. Like
Mhm.
Like them not wanting it or just like not having it.
both.
Like
Yeah.
you don't like want just a little bit.
Yeah, like you don't look strong. Like I look like I could beat you up. Like that's not.
Like, okay, let's put an example: MGK and Megan Fox. How does that work?
Yeah, he's a twig.
Like,
he's
I
so-
just don't understand
Because
how.
I think he's embracing that rock star like
Yeah.
party
Yeah.
cocaine.
Thighs are bigger than yours. It's not gonna work.
No. And even like Megan, I feel like her thighs are bigger than his. And like
Yeah.
Megan is no like freaking bodybuilder, but in my eyes, I'm like, if I picture these, it sounds fucked up, but if I picture these people like in like a doggy style position, I'm like, what is this stick just like behind a girl? Just like
It's
I
just-
cannot picture it. It just doesn't
And
make
it's
sense.
spinning bones.
that-
It's like Travis Barker, but like Travis Barker's kind of got a little something to him. Not like size, but like I think he's kind of like got a sexiness
Like
about
more like-
him, even though he's like a
Skin?
twig as well.
Yeah,
See, I will never, but hey, there's someone
Yeah.
for everybody.
exactly.
It's like whatever floats your
I
boat,
mean, yeah,
whatever
he
you
got a Kardashian.
I think
so,
we're
yeah.
just so ingratiated into like fitness and bodybuilding. I just
Yeah.
don't understand the other lifestyle. I just can't wrap my head around it.
But see, I never found like big guys like Nick attractive, and then somehow my
You
direction
ended
just
up with the biggest.
Yeah.
I remember like when I was younger, like looking at muscular development magazines and seeing bodybuilders, and I was like, "Oh, that's too
You're like,
much."
whoa,
Yeah.
what the
Like-
hell
I
is
was like,
that?
no. I was like, roids, no.
And now I'm like,
Meatheads.
whoever I date needs to look like they abuse steroids.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really want that.
Well, look at me now. I went from no bodybuilders to like the
To
top
the biggest
bodybuilder.
body.
The
Yeah.
fucking
Like-
pinnacle.
Talk about 0 to 100 real quick here. And then he's like, well, I got you. You fell for me. I'm like, shut up. He cannot be humble about that ever. He's like, well, I was the first one. I got you. And then I get some comments from this one specific account. I know is like a freaking hater. They're like, well, I guess this is the only chick that replied to Nick's DMs. I was like, Okay.
I'm sure there was hundreds in his DMs. Like,
Yeah. There still
Yeah, I
is.
can imagine.
oh, I bet.
Especially like older girls, I feel like they're into him. Like I'm like,
Yeah, it's the older women that like it,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
I
and I'm
just-
just like, nah.
I hate
No.
people who can't respect other people's relationships. That is the
Yeah.
worst type of person.
Don't be a home wrecker.
Yeah. It's like, if
Don't.
they're happy, let them be happy. There's like 8 billion people in the world. There's
Go
one out
look
there,
somewhere else.
but you can't have mine.
No. They always have to. Well, some people see it as a challenge. Some girls are just fucked up like that. But
Yeah.
hey,
I never understood that. Yeah.
would
the
you
one,
guys
like,
would you
let
guys
me-
ever go to the guy or
steal
the
it.
girl? Like if you find your significant other, you caught them cheating, let's say, would you get mad at him first, or like some girls
Oh
go
yeah,
and fight the girl?
definitely. It's not the
Never
girl's fault.
It's
I will be like to the girl. I'll be like, pick up your shit and go.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go and fight the
kick
girl.
her ass out and maybe like
I would like
whip her off.
I would
But...
beat Joe with her body.
But I would definitely like not go against her. I mean, yeah, I will be.
I mean, if she knew
Pissed.
what she was doing,
If she was my friend, yes. If I don't know
Yeah.
the girl,
Yeah.
then it's different. But if I know her, I'll be like, yo, I'm gonna probably beat the shit out of you. I never fought a girl,
Yeah.
but I would do that because it's personal, not because he did it with her. But,
Yeah.
And then I would beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
if it's a girl who thought he was like single, then she's innocent in all this. But if
Yeah.
it's someone who knows, or like you said, someone personal,
Yeah, I wouldn't beat the
It's
shit
like-
out of him.
dead to
If
me.
you
By
have
the
to
way,
make me guess about how you feel about me, you weren't mine in the first place. So
Yeah.
go with each
so
other.
why even waste your energy at that point?
Yeah.
It will hurt like shit. But I feel like there's no point in even.
Yeah. It's
Getting
like I'm
mad.
just packing my shit. I'm taking the dogs. We're done here.
Yeah.
Taking the dog for sure. Those dogs are. I would take the dog. Too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those dogs, they love me. They love mom.
This is a low key message for you, Justin. She'll take the dogs.
Taking Wally. Wow.
Do not ever cheat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Literally.
no. If they do that, they just don't love you. No, I just don't think that there's love if they actually do that. But
No. Or respect.
no. And once
Yeah.
respect is lost, there goes
There's
trust.
no going back.
There goes
Yeah.
like your ability to communicate, open up to them. It's like a snowball effect. That's
Yeah.
lost and everything just goes down with it. So
Yeah. Infidelity is like a hard line for me. There's no
Yeah.
way.
It shatters. It ruins everything.
Yeah.
Honestly, like
Yeah.
if you don't have trust in your relationship, you might as well not be in it.
no,
Exactly.
just move on. Just
Yeah.
don't waste the
Yeah.
person's time and then just let them be.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay, guys, we're like, this was a long but juicy, like very interesting. We talked about a lot of shit.
We talked
And-
about shit too.
What oily shit?
Oily shit.
Yeah.
We talked about our dirty laundry and things that we do and we don't do. So don't judge, please. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. We want to say thanks, Bri, for coming on.
Thank
You
you.
made this really, really fun. Not that you don't make it fun, Jazz. Please don't. You're a little boring sometimes. I'm kidding. No.
You know how it be.
No. This is like an awesome. Like I love to see like different perspectives and like just learn from other women. And then yeah, well, thanks for sharing your experience, your perspective, everything with us. And yeah, thank you so much. Anything
Thank
you guys want to like close these off with?
I don't know. I had a
No,
lot of
I got
fun.
nothing.
This is
So
fun.
yeah, you guys had a lot to say, but now you guys are like nothing to say.
No, this
Good,
is
good luck,
fun.
Bri,
Yeah.
in 12 days.
Yeah.
and
Kill
Thank
it.
you,
Me and
thank
Dustin will
you.
be in Chicago soon. So
Yeah, dude,
And
I'm doing freaking women's physique and bodybuilding. I'm gonna die. Yeah,
No,
I have
she's
I have
going for it.
Women's physique prejudging Friday, then women's bodybuilding prejudging Saturday morning, and then finals Saturday night.
oh
Both.
fuck.
Yeah,
Well, you're gonna kill it. So
Thank you.
finish
I
with a
feel really
bang.
good. Thank
Finish
you.
with a bang. Just
Yeah.
keep that mentality that you have right now, and I think that is just what's gonna take you to the day to bring your best, literally, to show what you've been working on.
I can do anything for 12 more days.
Yeah,
That's right.
one more day. This
Yeah.
is see, like 2 hours just went like this.
Exactly.
It's 2 hours closer to the show.
Thanks for distracting me from my hunger.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing those like brain cells and like just the energy
Yeah,
that you
now
had.
you're down to zero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go recharge.
Yeah.